So, I was thinking about more poetic genres of music. I'm not ruling anybody out, but when it comes to music, I am mainly a lyric man, a word man, whatever you wish to call it. And, I really do appreciate lyrics in general. I mean, there are certain people who say, not all music needs lyrics. And while I agree with that, I also agree with the complete opposite. You don't always need music. It's not always a prerequisite. And I know the music buffs out there would highly disagree, depending on who you are. I'm not trying to make any gross generalizations. When I first started turning my pieces into songs, well, I should open by saying that years and years ago, I actually used to make song parodies very similar to Al Yankovic, and that was very short-lived. I did that for about 2 or 3 years. I used to use those MIDI tracks and record my voice over them. Some of them were complete disasters from what I remember. But my first actual song that I wrote, and by the way, I should also say that whenever I write a piece that could be a song, I make it so that I could also read it aloud in public as a poem. All my songs start out as poems, but when I record, that's a different story. So anyway, the first song was actually the closest thing I've ever written to a Celtic song. It was just about this certain street, this made-up street in Ireland. And who knows, might actually exist. I'll look it up someday. And I actually sang this aloud in an Irish pub. I actually used to, I guest starred with this Irish group. Their Celtic music was absolutely amazing, and I sang 2 songs with them, 2 of my favorite Celtic songs, I'll Tell Me Ma and Whiskey in the Jar, and also Finnegan's Wake. That was another one. But yeah, so yeah, I was thinking about all of these artists: Mark Bolan, Bob Dylan, Patti Smith, Leonard Cohen, Tom Waits, even Jeff Tweedy. All of these artists who also write poetry as well, and there are so many more. And I've noticed that a lot of them, like Phil Oakes and Nick Drake, even though they never wrote any poems in particular, their songs, their lyrical pieces are incredibly poetic. And I'm just absolutely mad about that kind of music. But anyway, yeah, it's such a shame that we've lost so many of the greats. And along with other forms of entertainment, whether it's literature or cinema or just or visual art, most of the people I'm a major fan of are deceased or have been deceased for some period of time now. And I'm just absolutely crazy about just those lyrical pieces. I just can't get enough. And I also love it, like in prog rock, how certain groups would do a piece and divide it into separate parts, like a suite. Some of them are more orchestral, like Pink Floyd. Some of them are more lyrical, as well as musical, like Genesis and King Crimson. Yeah, I just absolutely love them, in case you didn't figure that out already. I've done that quite a few times myself, where I've split a piece up into several parts. It could either be performed separately or all together. It's just all together would take some time to get through the bloody thing. And yeah, so it's a real excellent practice, in my opinion. It truly is. And as always, writing's very therapeutic to me, as well as singing. I do play a few different instruments, but like, in comparison with rock and folk, my favorite living artist, Al Stewart, made an interesting comment that, rock musicians, they spend hours and hours in the studio. Like, take 56! They will spend hours and hours, and sometimes days at a time, to create and produce an album. And it's really interesting. And with folk artists, he said, we appreciate sharing our music live much more than the studio. When we're in the studio, we do our job, we get out, we don't spend hours and hours on end in the studio. It was very interesting to me, because for me personally, I have a mixed view. I don't know what genre of music I would be labeled as, because depending on the piece I write, it sounds completely different each time. And, I mean, I'm not saying they're any good, I'm saying they're different. But I have a mixed view on that, honestly, because I love doing spoken word live, but as far as singing and playing instruments live, that's a different story. For me, I love to spend time in the studio, just recording, playing with the effects, overdubs, backing vocals, multiple tracks, you name it. And sure, a lot of the process is still very new to me, but the thing is, I've been using more simple equipment for the past, maybe, from 2010 to 2014, it was just one voice recorder that I was using to record demo tracks and outtakes, things of that nature, little gems here and there. But, actually, recording that studio crisp sound was something I was after for some time. I've started to become braver and upload some of my original songs, a cappella, and song covers on YouTube. I realize I'm still very much an amateur. That's evident. But I have been involved with the arts for some period of time now. And like anything else in life, I know that I will progress. I truly will. So, who are some of your favorite artists that speak to you lyrically? Just, paste them in the comments section. I'm really interested. Who, like, what songs currently describe your situation? What is more important to you? The lyrics, the music, or a balance of both? You let me know. Poetry lives.